streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
This world is changing more and more every day, and we've decided to change right along with it. My name is Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the president of Trajectory TV Network. At Trajectory, our vision is to provide a comfortable, creative platform for top content creators and storytellers from around the globe. We're also dedicated to providing this world with content that is healing, educational, empowering, exciting, and above all else, entertaining and transparent. So right now, I invite all of you who believe yourselves to be global game changers to use the link found here and simply take a chance. Schedule a virtual chat where you'll have the opportunity to share your vision for your very own global television show with me, the network president. So use that link, and together, let's begin changing and healing this world, one story at a time. And remember, whether you have years of experience in front of the camera or zero experience, it doesn't matter. What matters the most is your desire to share great content through television and a willingness to share it with passion and with purpose. You might ask, how do I know if I've fallen in love with my purpose and my purpose has fallen in love with me? It's easy when you've lost your voice because you just can't stop talking about it. I'll see you soon.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started. One story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. You walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Is the bell getting on your nerves yet? Hey, welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels here. Am I ashy? No, that's just old ass skin. That's what it is. But I'm glad I'm in my skin. I am glad that I finally am happy living within my own skin. Lord Jesus, y'all, it took me a long time to get there. Do you know what I'm talking about? If you understand that feeling, say I understand it. Put it in the comments. It's a beautiful day, you guys. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. It's a one-on-one time today, just you and I, and we're going to get to that here in a bit. Hey, it warmed up here in Chicagoland. Yesterday, you remember me telling you, maybe you don't, but I did, that it was 1 degree yesterday, 1 degree, and it has warmed up. Thank you, Jesus. It is today 2 degrees. It's a start, right? See, I'm going to tell you something. It's all about perspective. It's all how we look at things, especially wherein it pertains to those things that we don't have any control over. I don't know, you might be able to, you might know something or have some gifts, spiritual gifts that I don't, that allow you to control the weather. I don't. So I'll tell you what, I'd rather just, whatever the universe, whatever God brings me, and don't think I've known this long. I haven't. I'm telling you, I've just recently come to this place in my journey where I'm just saying, I am done with certain things. I'm done with certain things. I just can't do certain things any longer. And what are those things? Those things are things that do not serve me, that make me less than what I should be. How's that, right? Try that one on for size, will you? Hey, that's the bell of purpose. You're going to hear me ring it every single time there is some truth out on the table. The truth, just like that bell, you hear me say it every day, it has a ring to it. And so today we're going to get into some truths. And I want this to be interactive. Why? First of all, because it's just us. So you guys got to talk back. Do you mind? Please help me welcome to the show my sidekick, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. This is her stunt double, her stand-in, because she is getting her roots done. In other words, she's in the dishwasher. But she's here. Lucy's here. So, how are you doing out there today? Today is the middle of the week. We're working our way through. It's February. In a little bit, it's going to be Valentine's Day. A lot of things happening. Now, I'm telling you today, well, there was a guest really scheduled, but things happened, he didn't get his things in, and that's okay. Life happens. He's going to be here. Mr. Kimball is going to be back. We're going to work on that later today, and I'll let you know when he's going to come back. So don't worry. You're still going to get all that real estate gold that he has to impart, and I can't wait to get him in here. So that's how that's going to work. Good news. Look what came yesterday in the mail, y'all. You saw it on social media, but it was just a picture. But I'm actually holding it in my hands right now. God is good all the time, and all the time, you best believe it. God is good. So another blessing. Thank you so much to the folks over at Tap In Magazine, Dr. Tandra Price and her team. What a beautiful magazine this is. I am not kidding you. It is just gorgeous. Particularly so when you get to, where is it? Page 10. I'm kidding. The whole thing, honestly, is just a nice, not even nice, better than nice, a wonderful magazine. So tapinmagazine.com is where you can go. tapinmagazine.org. This is a nonprofit magazine, so you can find it. There you see down there, tapinmagazine.org. I highly encourage you to pick up a copy if you so choose. So there that is. So what are we talking about today? I want you to share this out because I hope I'm coming in clear. Am I coming in clear? Mike TV, Willy Wonka, right? Let me scoot in because I want you guys to hear me loud and clear today. Loud and clear. Can I get an amen? So I had to actually ask Alexa, I don't want to say it too loud because she'll butt in. I had to ask her to, first of all, spell it for me. Disingenuous. Disingenuous. Let's ask Alexa what the true definition is. Alexa, what is the definition of disingenuous?
Disingenuous is usually defined as lacking in frankness, candor, or sincerity, falsely or hypocritically ingenuous, insincere.
Well, I knew that last part. Insincere. Why am I talking about this today? Well, I tell you what, it is never about just one thing. And if I'm looking tired today, this Samsonite luggage under here, these bags, well, they're there every day, but anyway, particularly so today. There's my spiritual fitness survivor hat. I was up until like 11:30 last night. And for those of you who know my routine, you know, I am in the bed, knocked out, snoring, drooling, and all of that, no later than 9 p.m. on most days. But last night I was up till 11:30. I was on the phone. I had a string of people. That's why I said, well, God must have wanted us to have this conversation today. So it's not Mr. Kimball's fault. It's no one's fault. It's just where we find ourselves today. And I had a string of people, and there was one common thread going down the middle of all those calls. Betrayal. 3 people I spoke to last night, one in particular, but 3, were calling me because they were feeling some kind of way, feeling betrayed, feeling like, well, I'll use the one call, no names, of course, to protect the innocent. And so I don't get beat up by her later. But a friend of mine called because she had had an issue with some friends that she has been friends with for years, and felt like she had been introduced, let's say, to a side of them she never knew existed. And it wasn't even the thing, let's put it there, the thing that, you know, it wasn't, I don't know, I'm trying not to give too much away, but let's just say, not her as a person, but there was a product or service, okay, that she had shared with some people and was helping them and this and the other. And I've heard this many times. My friend Tim Chung, you guys know Mindset Coach Tim Chung, has gone through this several times. I bet a lot of us have. We're going to talk about it, where, you know, you share things with people, or you're trying to reach out, trying to uplift them, you're trying to support them, and you help them, and you share some of your ideas or whatnot with them, and they snatch it, or at least they try to. So first thing I want to say today is, in my experience, I remember a long time ago, I don't remember who it was that told me, but I remember what they told me. And they said to me, Lauren, never worry. Excuse me. Oh, I went and got some cough drops. I should eat one. She said, well, it must have been a woman who told me, because I just said she said. The person, just in case it wasn't, the person said to me, Lauren, don't worry about when you feel betrayed by people or people try to take things from you. Don't you realize that no one can steal your blessings, just like you cannot take anyone else's blessings? And that truly resonated with me. Okay. And my heart was broken last night. When I'm sleepy, I might be able to talk like till 9:30 on a good day, maybe 10, but 11:30, virtually unheard of in my world. But nonetheless, God gave me the energy and the foresight to stay engaged. And I remember my part of it was primarily based on trying to get this person that I love dearly to understand you did nothing wrong. And she was so hurt, so deeply hurt. My biggest challenge was to keep her from crying about this hurt. And so I thought about it as I fell into sleep last night, and I woke up with this on my spirit this morning. And then, of course, when the guest couldn't come, I said, there it is. We need to talk about this thing. Disingenuous people. First thing I want to, well, it's not the first thing because I've been talking for a minute here, but I'll say this. One of the things I told her last night, and you'll find this in my master class, I say in there, but it's the truth. So I don't care where it is. It's the truth. Oftentimes we find ourselves in uncomfortable, hurtful situations with people. Many times they're people that we truly love deeply and have for quite some time. But we find ourselves in these particular situations, not because they're bad people, not because we're bad people, but simply because God, or what you believe is greater than yourself, is providing us a clear, concise example of what we should never become or something we should never do to someone else. And so I tried to encourage my friend last night to remember that why am I frozen on my phone? Okay, the internet thing. I had the people here yesterday. They were here for hours trying to fix everything. I hope it's okay. I hope it's better. Let me know if the internet's better. But whatever the reasons are, they're probably as countless as the stars. We should focus on what we know to be true, and that is why we find ourselves in particular situations and how we can use those situations to take everything that we already are, strong, kind, bright, nice, and take them to kinder, brighter, stronger, nicer, right? God has put us in these situations so that we can grow. And it's easy when you're not in it to tell that to somebody, but it's sometimes difficult when you're inside of it to remember it yourself. That's why it's so important that we share these truths and have these types of conversations with each other. Can I get an amen? So first of all, I see some of you, more people are coming in. So good morning, beautiful ones. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here. And I want you to speak your truths this morning. Good morning, Robert Brooker. Lori, how you doing? Lori Whitney. And Nikki Keys, how are you? Good morning to you. God bless you. So listen, you guys, and the rest of you, I'm sorry if I didn't name. Some of them don't say names. So forgive me for not using your government name. So anyway, first thing I want to do is share a clip with you I found on 15 signs of fake or nice people. And I don't think I like that word fake, because I think people fall into that category, those categories, when they're afraid of something, when they are running or being chased from or by something, when they are struggling to find something that they see in others that they don't see within themselves. And so I don't believe just because you have one situation with one person, that's another thing. A lot of times people, I've been the victim of this, and I try not to do it, but I'm sure I'm guilty of doing it too. I mean, I'm human. What I'm talking about is how we can have, let's just say, a 10-year relationship with someone, and it's wonderful. And then they cut that thing, they cut that wound that we feel will never heal, that will never take stitches. Oh, you've done it now. And it's easy to just 86 everything good that they've ever done and point everything towards the moment we're in, like, I'm done with you, this and the other. And it's hard to walk around the situation, including the history with that person or those people, and say, well, this is not how it's usually been. It's hard to do. So I don't know how much we're going to watch of this clip, or if it's even worth looking at, because it was a last minute thing, but I feel I was led to it. So let's see what's inside of it for us today, shall we? Here we go. It has 2.14 million. Oh no, that's subscribers. It has 2.3 million views. It's about 4 years old. And I am familiar with Brainy Dose, and they usually do pretty well. So it's a 10-minute clip. We're not going to watch the whole thing, of course, but let's hear what they have to say. This is entitled 15 Signs of Fake Nice People Who You Need to Avoid.
Brainy Dose presents 15 signs of fake nice people who you need to avoid. Trying to tell the difference between someone who is genuinely nice and someone who is faking it can be as confounding as trying to tell the difference between a work of art and a well-made replica. That's because some people are really good at masking their true emotions. But as good as they are, there are still some clues that give away their phoniness, and knowing these can come in handy. Pay attention to the following signs of fake nice people, so the next time you encounter someone like this, you can recognize their facade. Number 1, they act overexcited to see you. Fake nice people act overly amped to see someone. It's a vibe, and you'll be able to tell if that's what they're doing. Ever run into an acquaintance or a friend who you haven't seen in ages? And then you embrace each other like you're the best of friends. Besides the usual, "How have you been? I've missed you" pleasantries, has the conversation ever led to something along the lines of, "Oh my God, let's totally catch up for drinks this weekend"? You know you won't call. They know you won't call. But somehow, since they put the message out there, they consider it a win and manage to make you feel like crap for not spending time with them. Number 2, it's all about them. Fake people tend to make everything about them. There's no denying that there's something about them that makes them crave everyone's approval. They brag loads and exhibit a self-righteous attitude. The moment you get that "it's all about me" vibe, it's only a matter of time before you realize how fake they are. Number 3, their body language puts you on edge. You may not always pick up on someone's body language at first, but if you know where to look, you'll surely recognize signs of deception. Whether they look you up and down, give you a half-hearted smile, or hold uncomfortably long eye contact to subtly control you, fake people tend to give off their insincerity through their body language. Number 4, they seek attention to validate themselves. If you encounter someone who is constantly seeking attention or approval, it's usually because they need confirmation that their persona is liked by others. Whereas genuine people show up and show you who they are, fake people need you to buy into the story they are telling. If you don't pay attention to them, it makes it clear that you aren't buying their act, and this turns their world upside down. Number 5, they're passive-aggressive. Fake people are really good at speaking in a passive-aggressive way. They always find a way to insult you with a compliment. They may even ask backhand questions so that they can line themselves up to insult you. They may ask where you got an item of clothing from, whether you've lost weight or something similar, but they don't follow up with a sincere compliment. Instead, they give you some comments that just make you feel like crap. They will slowly reduce your self-confidence, and you may not even realize that it's happening. Number 6, they don't listen when you talk. A fake person will ask a question, but then doesn't bother to listen to the response. Oh sure, they pretend to listen, but they are on their phones, updating statuses, or talking to someone else while they're sitting right in front of you. They often give inappropriate reactions because they aren't paying attention, or they move on to another question or topic altogether.
Like you didn't even say anything.
You'll also notice that a lot of the time they aren't able to recall things you've said. Number 7, they always talk about the misfortune of others. Often, you can tell whether someone is fake or genuine by the way they talk about other people. Fake nice people will constantly talk about the misfortunes of others and pretend to be concerned about the person, when in fact, they actually enjoy feeling sorry for him or her.
Who does
First,
that?
it seems like they're sympathetic to others, which could make them seem nice. But if they do it often, you'll start to notice the deeper meaning behind it. They may actually enjoy discussing the crappy things others are going through, which isn't nice at all.
No.
And it also probably means they're talking about you in the same way to others. Number 8, they like to show off. When someone is genuinely nice, they don't need to make a huge deal about it. They don't even feel the need to point it out. But when someone is being fake, they're acting this way because they want everyone to think they're nice. And so they have to make sure everyone knows. They do things like donate or volunteer for charities, but then brag about it to everyone they meet. Or they make you a fancy birthday cake, but can't be bothered to know your favorite flavor or even remember that you're allergic to nuts. They just want the praise for making a pretty cake. Fake people are only nice if it makes them look good or benefits them in some way. They want others to give them props for their behavior. Number 9, they exaggerate
Well, I'm
and
just saying.
lie. You repeatedly hear the same stories from a fake person, although they don't realize how often they repeat themselves. Eventually, you start to notice the inconsistencies and even flat-out lies as they recount slightly different versions of the same self-promoting stories. If you then start to verify their stories or information, you'll likely find that exaggerated or false self-praise is involved. Number 10, they constantly interrupt while you're talking. It's pretty easy to spot this behavior. If someone can't be bothered to listen to you until you finish talking, they're not really interested in what you're saying or talking with you. Perhaps at you, but not with you. This kind of behavior is a dead giveaway that you're talking with an insincere person, regardless of how nice they may seem. Number 11, they belittle you. Fake nice people often direct the conversation so they can talk about themselves. They will ask how your weekend was so they can tell you how great their weekend was. They will ask if you're going on holiday so they can talk about their holiday. Or they will ask you about your life and find ways to put you down. You get the point. Basically, their intention is to belittle you, one way or another.
Okay. All right. Keeping it real. There were a couple things in there, especially that interrupting piece. I know I do that all the time, but it's because, well, see, I almost said I've always attributed that to my ADHD, but now it's got me wondering, ooh, was I borderline disingenuous? I'm just, you know why I'm saying that is because it's easy to see faces of people or remember circumstances that fit what we were just watching. But it's important that as we assess what we feel or who we think has done this or when we've seen it, to also acknowledge where we might have had a part of it or have been a part, have been in it in some form or another. I think that's just as important. Because you know how the old saying, when you point your finger, there's 3 pointing back at me, right? So let me get an amen on that one. A lot of things in there made sense to me. Now, what do we do? Because here we are. Those of us, all of us here, come together every day because we are evenly yoked. We fulfill that promise of 2 or more, same mindset, same heart set. So let's talk about this. Why do you guys think it is that so many people miss these warning signs or allow people to keep doing those things? Because here's the deal. If we are to be the healers, shouldn't we recognize the patients when they're standing or sitting in front of us? If we're to be the teachers, should we not recognize the students? So, what do we do? Do we say, I'm done. I know that you're a fake nice person. You're disingenuous. Get out of my life. Or do we try to find ways to help that student graduate to something better, to help that patient heal into something better? What do you think? So, you know me, I love this. This is one of my favorite books ever. It is required reading in my coaching program, and I keep copies within reach. I have one here, I have one upstairs in my bedroom, and I have the Audible on my phone. The Motivation Manifesto by Brendan Burchard, 9 declarations to claim your personal power. That alone should tell you why you should have this book, because a lot of us look outside of ourselves. We reach outside of ourselves to either eradicate some situation or to medicate some situation or to run it past other people, opinion based, which are like shadows of a tree. Opinions are like shadows. You're the tree. I'm the tree. We're still going to be there when the sun sets. It's all of those opinions that serve as the shadows that move around the tree as the sun moves across the sky. When the sun sets, all those opinions are gone, but the tree is still standing nonetheless. So I am going to give us a little bit of content today, some nuggets, if you will, from chapter 7. Wait a minute. Okay, it's a Roman numeral. V1, 6. Okay. Remember that test? The Roman numeral test? What grade was that? 6th, 7th? Here's where I go first. Before I start trying to dissect anything other from a situation, because the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with our word. Don't make assumptions. Don't take things personally, and always do our best. And I find with the 4 agreements, they're like a nice sandwich. And when you make a sandwich, you don't grab the meat, cheese, lettuce, and tomato and hold it in your hand and then go and get the bread and take the bread tie off. You get the 2 pieces of bread out first, right? So, like bookends. You see what I'm saying? You don't line up anyway, let's stick with the bread analogy. So you have the stuff. So the reason I say that is because with the 4 agreements, I find when I do reach for them, I reach for the 2 pieces of bread. Be impeccable with my word and always do my best. That takes care of the meat and cheese in the middle. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions, because those things are hard. I'm keeping it real. It's hard. When someone does something that kicks you in the stomach, that I remember literally, anyone ever experienced this when I was a kid, and there were bullies or somebody who said mean, horrible things, not just about me. They might be bullying someone else, and it felt like they hit me. That's empathy. I wasn't equipped. I didn't know what to do about it. I felt powerless. But when you do your best and you're impeccable with your word and vice versa, purpose works in both directions. It's like a sentence that you can read one way. Was that a cat I saw? Write that down. Was that a cat I saw? When you read it backwards, every letter, it's the same sentence. Was that a cat I saw? I love that example because that's exactly how purpose works. It's like a litmus test. Is it litmus or litmus? I hear people saying both. It's like in baseball, pitch hitting or pinch hitting, right? There's my ADHD rearing its ugly head. But listen, chapter or declaration 6. This is why I reached for this book. Seriously. When I'm doing my best and I want to be impeccable with my word, it means I must operate from a place of integrity. So I remind myself of my responsibility to the situation first before I start pointing fingers at anything within the situation. So here's what we find here. First, say to yourself, what would you be? And then do what you have to do. Okay. In our darkest hours, we are tempted to break our integrity, to compromise who we are, what we believe in, and what we know to be right and true and good. Now, there is an opportunity to be weak and heartless, and it is taken. An impulse arises to be cruel or to cheat or to run from our very own dreams, and it is sadly followed. Right when it counts the most, we forget what is important, and we abandon our higher moral convictions. We make an important promise to our children or team, but then we don't follow through. We lash out in anger. I'm going to stop right there. That's the bathtub ring that I am currently scrubbing in my own journey. It used to be a daily occurrence in one way or another. I mean, to the point where my husband, Brian, Dr. Brian, would, if I was outside screaming at someone on the phone, he would come out there and wave his hand silently to tell me honey, the neighbors can hear you. It was so out of control. It was destroying me. And so I'm no longer blinded enough by what doesn't serve me to think it's okay if it's once a month. and this is in the last week, this realization, or, well, it hasn't been so long. No, I do not stop scrubbing until it is gone. Because the longer we leave things inside our world that do not serve us, the only thing we're really doing is allowing that thing that does not serve us, we're giving it more time to trick us into serving it. So I'm not playing with that anger thing anymore. So moving on. Okay, I had my finger on the spot. Where'd it go? We let disappointment win the day and hastily quit on our dreams just because we stumbled and fell and made a mess of ourselves. We withhold our voice when we have a chance to shine, hiding our true selves at the expense of authenticity and growth. We act indifferent or cowardly just when the world needs our presence and our strength. These are the moments when we experience a sudden rupture of mind and spirit, a lack of virtue, a descent into the dark plains of selfishness and irresponsibility. Perhaps it is not always so dramatic. Not all compromises of our character are, like the movies often portray, centered on huge and vexing life decisions. There is no tearing out of hair as we desperately try to figure out what to do, as if a grand, existential dilemma, is unfolding all around. There's no dramatic debate in a public square or conflict so heated someone collapses to the ground because they can't stand to give an inch. No, most breaks in our integrity are small in scale and they go unnoticed. They often come when we are too busy to pay attention. We didn't even notice we were rude. We didn't realize it became a habit to act unlike ourselves, to tell little lies, to be easily angered, to keep our ideas to ourselves, to talk too much about ourselves, to gossip, to delay, to ridicule, to be late, to forget the thank yous and the I love yous. We broke stride with who we are and how we want others to perceive us because of little throwaway acts that we didn't realize were solidifying into a character that was likely beneath us. It is time to remind ourselves that today's thoughts and actions literally become our legends, our legacy. When we forget this is our lie to ourselves, thinking our actions don't matter, we have permission to act as momentary buffoons. We let ourselves break just this once from our values. We cheat just this once. We'll lie just this once. We put off the hard tasks just this once. We skip the workout just this week. We take the drink just one more. And soon we find that each of these little breaks in our will leads to another, and then to a lifetime of compromise, and then regret. Without vigilance, what is right and strong about the human spirit can be whittled away and therefore broken forever. So let us not forget that our actions form piece by piece a structure that is either upright or crooked. And so let us aim to be our highest selves, keeping our character and values intact, meeting every situation with solid integrity and generous humanity. When the next temptation comes to be weak and heartless, and it will come, you best believe, we will not take it. Instead, there will be a strong, grounded refusal to break, a decision not to compromise or lower ourselves. That mighty lift that comes from doing what's right, a grand descent to another realm of human character when we are congruent with our divine nature. Personal freedom in the hope of mankind, well, it rests on our commitment to stay true to ourselves. Shakespeare said that best, to thine own self be true. Our dreams and to our word, our goodness and our loving nature. By refusing to bend on our values, we become unbreakable. We become unshakable. We become untakeable. Solid and stable, courageous and certain. Men and women of valor, worth, and character. Let us build a life we are proud of. Let us declare that we shall not break integrity. I'm going to tell you something. When it talked about what we build being straight up and down or crooked, do you remember the original Batman with Adam West? Do you remember? You can YouTube this or Google it. Whenever a crook was in a scene with Batman or Robin, the frame of the scene would be crooked because there was a crook in there. What a beautiful lesson they were teaching us as children and adults, just subtly. I'll never forget that because I remember I would turn like this. So if you find yourself going, what in the world? Something in that frame is crooked. I see Jamie Lane has shown up. I invited her to come in and help push the conversation across the finish line. I'm going to tell you something else before I bring her in. Something my birth mother, Lucille, said to me one day, and it's kind of crude the way it came out, but I'm going to tell you what, it works. I found for many years later, after the fact, that some of my most destructive behavior was because I went in to battle something that was not my battle. And I never won, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I heard these words come out of my mom's mouth one day. She said, Lauren, don't you realize when anything doesn't make sense to you, that's because whatever it is ain't got shit to do with you. Leave it where you find it and keep growing forward. Can I get an amen? All right. So, disingenuous people.
Yeah.
Have you been watching or did you just pop in?
No, I've been watching.
So, have you ever been betrayed, heartbroken? When you thought you knew someone's heart, their spirit, and then out of what seems like nowhere, a totally different person shows up?
I don't think I've experienced, well, my mom, who's a narcissist, I think narcissists do that. That's how I feel, and which is easy to tell.
Yeah.
I've never had like a close friend like that, but I do go to some places and you can tell like I thought it was so interesting you chose the subject because it's about social acuity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Human anthropology, human, observing other humans and to see what's going on. And my son notices, he's, Mom, why did that woman smile at you that way? Like even my son at the time was 6 or 7 when we were traveling here 3 years ago. And I said, oh, Brandon. I said, well, that woman's phony, fake. He goes, why did she do that? I said, I have no idea. But he could tell because, anyway, even a child can tell. They hide behind a mask. Yeah, they do.
So how do you feel about our responsibility? It's so easy to say, I'm not going to screw with that person anymore. I don't want that kind of toxicity in my life, which is a choice, and we have a right. But what about when we carry the banner of I'm here to help change the world? Do you feel we should at least try, or do we just pray for them, or what do you do?
I love that you said that because I do try to find common ground because a lot of people look by nature, they love talking about themselves. And a lot of people are lonely because they don't get real, true quality interaction. I found that. So I frequent a place and nobody knows me. They know my posts. They see me as a influencer, whatever, right? Like they see me online.
Yes.
They don't ask me questions. They don't know what I own. They don't know my good morning, Lori. Hello, everyone. Hello. They don't know me. And that's okay. Because you know what? I sit there and I listen to their stories. And you know why they like me, Lauren?
Why?
Because I listen. I listen. And
That's
you know
a
what?
great
I
point.
don't care if they want to ask me about myself. I talk about myself online a lot, as you can see on Facebook. Like, I don't need that. So for me, for them not to physically ask me, you know what? When they see me, they do enjoy seeing me. Some of them are fake, I can tell, and I don't care. Most of the time, though, people just want to be heard. They just want to listen. If I can do that, and I get to find out about these people, I get to find out about what they like. And guess what? I get to ask them questions, which I am genuinely interested in learning about people. So I would say find common ground. You don't have to be friends or invite anybody out, but enjoy the place that you're at and find a way. What am I going to learn today? What kind of
Right.
mystery?
And why am I in this situation? See, it's never about just one thing. You hear me say that all the time. You also hear me say we have an obligation to our anointing, if you will, why our spirit is in this world, what our task is in this world to accomplish, what we are growing into before we go into whatever is next. And so it's never about one thing, but oftentimes it's so easy to just, throw the baby out with the bathwater, this sort of a thing, instead of going, well, what reason could I be in this situation other than the obvious? Because there's usually something else running sidecar to a situation. And in most cases, I found that thing that I had to move shit out of the way to see was the blessing meant for me. The gift tag had my name on it.
Yeah.
But I had to go through what I thought was somebody else's crap to get to the prize, the diamond that was for me. So,
Right.
What do you say about that kind of a thing? I mean, how do you deal with it?
I like that. And for those who've had a friend for a long time, the situations I'm talking about when we go find common ground and stuff, and you're talking about cutting people, look, if you've been friends with this person and you think it's real, 10 years, 5 years, 17 years, whatever, and you just realize, wow, I don't feel good. It's not about being in a situation and making the best of it and finding something. I mean, you're in an invested relationship with this person. Then yeah, I mean, if you're not getting anything from it, I would say talk to that person, which is the hardest part. Isn't the hardest part to talk to the people you love the most?
Yes.
How do you even bring it up? What do you say? And Eric and I are going through that right now. For 12 years, we avoided all the weird, uncomfortable things. Okay. We didn't talk about it. It was always this weird thing. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I woke him up. I turned him over last night. And if I'm going to be, real, we're going to do this. We're going to talk about this right now, Eric. I don't want to do this. We did this for 12 years. And look, it kept us apart out of the bedroom for 10 years. And I'm not doing that. It was uncomfortable. I just did it because I love him so much. So you got to decide, do you want that person? Is it worth it? Because they might not even realize what they're doing if you're in an invested relationship.
There it is. Relationships, real relationships are investments.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they should be like CDs, no penalty for early withdrawal, things like that, because so many of us will just walk away. I have a friend.
That's easy, isn't it? It's easy to walk away. How about you actually try and put something into it if you want to? And a lot of people don't because they don't know themselves, Lauren.
But then how do we know where that demarcation line is, where you've invested enough and now it's just not serving you any longer?
Have you though? Here's what I realized. I thought I was. Oh, I tried. No, I didn't. I didn't try. I punished him for years. I didn't try. Have you tried? Have you been truthful with yourself? We said this on the show. Have you tried? Have you looked at yourself? Have you been honest, aware of yourself, and admitted to yourself what you did? Doesn't matter about them. Go through yourself. Know yourself first and then know, is that even the type of person am I willing to go forward? That's what I did. I'm like, yeah, it is, because I evolved. I did not try. I did not.
My friend that I was talking about last night, the one thing that I kept looking for in the conversation from her was I thought she was going to say, well, it's not worth it. I'm done. But she kept going back to how long she'd been friends with these people, which I think was her language for I'm not ready to just say, I'm done with you, but I don't know what to do, because is it a weakness in me? Am I making myself available to be a welcome mat to these people? What am I going to stand on, or what do I have to say the next time if I don't do something this time? And so what it came down to, because I was struggling to find something to put in there, because I didn't want to just throw any old turd against the wall and hope that it would stick, I didn't, because I know that if I do that, when I am that person, some false help is going to come back at me from somewhere trusted. So
Right.
all I could tell her was this: what was the core thing that they were trying to take? Or, nuh-uh, we changed it. That we didn't steal your idea. And they really did. Who's the creative here? No one can steal your blessings, and you can't steal theirs. Release it. Say, go ahead. I would say, let it go. Keep doing what you were going to do, and say, may the best idea win. Just leave it. I didn't say the best person, the best man, the best woman. May the best idea. Look, if we're both invested in changing the world through this, then let it go. Free it. See where it leads, and keep it moving. Because if a person is that desperate that they can stand in your face and try to justify, that happened with the power of we last year. Remember when I had to give the food check back because the person put they took our, what is that called? Press release, and took my picture out, took my name out, put their picture in, put their name in. So presents their award-winning Power of We Symposium. And it was with the UL Systems people, the university people. They called me and said, is this really your event? Because we found some stuff online that says it's someone else's. And I felt like someone had reached in and stole my kidney while I was sleeping to sell it on the black market. I really did. And I questioned myself first, because I was like, how did I not see this coming? So, and the interesting part was, after this conversation last night, I literally picked up my phone and I felt myself moving towards reaching into that person a year later now, nearly, and saying, asking, how are you? I forgive you. But then I stopped, because am I inviting more of the same? How stupid can you be, Lauren? So I'm working on it too. And I think more of us are, Jamie, than admit to it. Or more of us should be than are even thinking about it. So, final question today. What should be the first thing we do when we feel blindsided? What do we do to correct our vision?
It's so funny. Oh my gosh. So for me, I like to have a plan. I don't know how anyone else behaves. I'm going to give you tips that I do, because I do get anxiety and stuff like that. I don't want to interrupt people, right? I heard about what you said. I want to be a listener.
I do that all the time.
I do too, but I get excited. So I have a plan before I go out. I talk it out with my lover. I talk it out with myself. And because I already know myself, and I don't want to get blindsided. And here's the other thing. I've learned people enough to realize if I'm walking into a situation that could arise. I know the behavior. I'm well aware of it. I'm willing to put myself in it. However, if you find yourself blindsided, for me, I'm silent for a minute because I got to gather my thoughts. Another thing you practice, think before you speak. These are all tools, but once you get to know yourself, you'll know how to
not reactive. Right.
A response. Right. Right. So
that's why they call it knee jerk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just do it. Right. And I was horrible at that.
It's embarrassing. It's foolish for us. And that's not really how we want to present ourselves. And I've been there. So for me, I like to have a plan. I already know myself and I have these key things and I'm already ready. Like, that's all the time I have for you now. Or I breathe, or you don't have to say anything. If all you can do is say nothing and walk away, then say nothing and walk away. Be comfortable enough with yourself. And it really does start with ourselves. It really does. So.
And we cannot change people. We can only show them ways that we have changed ourselves, because that's from a place of authority. Not something we heard through the grapevine or purchased on eBay. So
thank you.
I think it comes down to two things at the end here. Shakespeare said it best, to thine own self be true, which then allows us to lead by example. Lead by example. So, like my mom said, I don't watch mouths, Lauren. I'm only going to watch your feet. They will tell me all I need to know about what really means the most to you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? She goes, for example, if I'm here and I'm telling you stay away from so-and-so that lives next door, she is for no good, this and the other, that bitch is this, she's that. And then the next day you drive past a restaurant and you see me having lunch with her. What is the truth? What I told you out of my mouth yesterday, warning you to stay away from a person. And then the next day you see me having lunch with that very person. Don't watch my mouth. Watch my feet. I might be trying to warn you about myself.
Wow.
Right. My mother, for having a 6th grade education, was a brilliant woman.
Yeah, I agree. One of my mantras is, I will model emotionally intelligent behavior. I will model emotionally intelligent behavior. And I have to do mantras like that because I know myself, right? I know it. Anyway, that was my last parting thought, is create mantras for yourself that will help you to do the
talk, self-talk. That's right. Put the muzzle on that negative shit, and so you can hear yourself, so you can be yourself, so you can keep growing into your higher self. Self. All leads back to starting the first square of any sidewalk going anywhere is self.
I love it.
That's self. That's the first square. So I want to thank you, Jamie. Thank you for coming in and helping out today.
Wow. Thanks for inviting me.
Where's Eric?
Eric, lover. Brandon was late for school. That's why I was like, Lauren invited me on the show.
Yeah, this year when people cancel and stuff, I'm not going to be all up in my feelings and stuff. I just say God is creating an opportunity for opportunity. So,
and I like your illuminations. Yeah, I love it. When you do your own illuminations and stuff every Wednesday, I love that.
Yeah. And I come away with what I needed. I find my bread here. I get fed. So, and that's what I love. That's why we're here. We're fulfilling a promise, that guarantees us that we're going to come out with some spiritual magic when 2 or more of us comes together seeking. The clue is seeking. Keep looking. ING. In the process of. That means you are on your way. So take that with you today. Tell everybody in your world that you love them. You don't have to say it to their face. Say it to the universe, and they will get the message where it needs to go. Trust that. Thanks you. You guys, listen, tomorrow, Army veteran PJ Cowell will be here. Wait till you hear the story this guy has to bring. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And I love you guys. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. So listen, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, God willing, out front on the porch. And we'll start another day together right here on Bathrobe Moments. Get out and be the best you can be, okay? Thanks, Jamie. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. displaying my state of mind.